Greetings, and welcome to Tales from the Asylum. The Ruber Oculis Radium Lunae De Nocte Umbra, Dæmonium, by Isherwood. Good evening, and welcome to Tales from the Asylum. Dog, spelled backwards, is God. What if dogs had a keener sense and awareness of the old gods more than humans? Tonight we find out. I'm shouting at my master's door like a mad one. Instantly the door opens and his wife is standing there looking straight out, a bit confused, before looking down at me and asking, "What the fuck are you barking at, you silly mutt? And where the fuck is John, the bloody good-for-nothing?" "Where the fuck is John?" I shout at the silly woman. "John's been fucking got, you silly bitch, and you'll never believe what I just fucking saw. Fuck me. Bloody humans can never understand what the fuck we're saying, but we can understand you bleeding evolved monkeys, alright? And you lot think we're the stupid and daft ones sometimes. Good bloody grief. Alright, I think I better stop there and start at the beginning of my sad tale of woe. Me and my master are walking down one of the main roads. Well, more like I'm being dragged and rushed along. My master isn't in a very good mood. He's had a really shite day at work by the sounds of it, and it being a Monday as well. He also had a right barney with his better half earlier, something about his dinner not being hot or good enough or something like that. Not that I'm complaining, because he dropped it in my bowl in disgust and I had it. It was rather nice, I might add, so God only knows what was eating his beef, so to speak. And to put the icing on the cake, when he decides to take me out, some of the local brats decide to give him some mouth as well. So as soon as we get around the corner of the road and walk past them, and even one of the little shits called me a bloody pug on steroids. That fucking insult, half-wit wanker. I am a bleeding British bulldog and fucking proud of it. Fucking tosspot. Kids these days can't tell their asses from their elbows, and he'd probably been sniffing too much laughing gas. Anyway, we're moving at a rate of knots that even I'm surprised at, as my master is normally a slow one and likes to take his time. It's one of the few times of the day he gets any time to himself, so he must really be pissed off. Anyway, I can sense his mood and decide to go with it. It'll only annoy him even more if I start playing up. To tell you the truth, I'm dying for a shit, but I think it's best not to try anything now to aggravate him any more than he needs to be at the moment. He drags me across the road and we head down a bit further before he then cuts into one of the by-lanes that comes off it. A nice little country road that swings back round into the housing estate where we live, about a mile further down. It was then at that point that something suddenly doesn't feel right and I put on the brakes. Whatever it is stinks, and there's a sense of menace and sheer fear that makes me shit myself like a trooper. Fuck me, it explodes out of my ass. But at least that's one sorted problem out, much to my relief. My master looks down at me and asks what the problem is and what I'm whining at. I'm shaking like a good one and I try to tell him, but he looks at me and tells me to stop whining and barking. Then he tags my leash rather hard, the bastard. Gets me up from my haunches and back up and going again. He then stops and gets out a boot bag and starts cleaning my shit off the ground. Bastard's grumbling that it's gone everywhere. Not bloody surprised, to be honest, and anyway, I'm still not feeling too good at the moment. I'm hyper-aware and the air is full of this nastiness that I've never seen before or felt in my life. It's evil, and it's starting to freeze my soul a bit. I look down the road and see fog rolling out of the tree line, and it's starting to get a bit thick. So thick, in fact, you can cut it with an industrial bloody chainsaw. It's made a lot more eerie as the low full moon shines through the trees to the side of the road, and I can see the shadows of the tree branches that are moving in the low wind breeze, dancing around in it like some mad, surreal, haunted puppet show. We walk further down the road, and in the fog, I'm still scared a bit shitless, but at least my master has slowed his pace down a bit, which is fine by me. It's given me time to take stock of the situation. I start to think, is it me? Is it the atmosphere of the place with the fog and the creepy shadows? I start to calm down a bit and feel more relaxed at ease with myself. It's then that I suddenly hear a whooshing noise above that startles me. It's low at first, but soon gets louder as whatever it is goes overhead and then starts making a flapping noise. It's as though something is flapping its wings. Again, I start to try and reason with myself and think that maybe it's an owl or some other bird. Then the smell hits me. Fuck me, I can't even describe it. About the nearest I can think of is when you smell something that's been dead for a little while, like roadkill. In a way, it reminds me of our neighbour's cats that got run over a few months back. He'd been laying on the side of the road after a day or two after getting hit by a car. My master is walking along, though, as if he is completely unaware and oblivious to everything. In fact, I'd say his mood has lifted somewhat, and he started whistling and singing, which is uncomfortable to my ears and a total insult to my hearing and senses. I hope he never gives up his day job on that front. I look up along the path of whatever it's taken. The fog has lifted a bit, and I can see the tops of the trees. I suddenly see something like a shadow, some dark foam that appears not to block the moonlight, but to absorb it. It's moving amongst the tree branches above and ahead of us, quite skillfully and stealthily. The thing's head, what I presume is its head, suddenly turns our way, and I can see two faint red lights, two spots of sheer terror which I take are its eyes, that suddenly appear to narrow and focus on us. It spreads its wings quickly as though they are shooting out the side of a Tomahawk cruise missile. I feel nothing but sheer terror. I put the brakes on again and then start backing away. I also start shouting at my master to fucking run for it. Well, shout is too kind a word. I am in fact screaming bloody murder. I try to pull him back the way we came, but he resists. "The fuck is wrong with you? You completely lost it," he says to me. "Come on, you stupid bastard. Calm down for fuck's sake," he says, somewhat annoyed and agitated. Again, he starts tugging at me to move along. It's as though we're both having a rope-pulling match come on. "What is it, boy? Is there a fox or a deer spooking you?" "Fox or fucking deer," I think to myself. You gotta be bloody kidding me. He tells me to stop barking and calm down again, but I keep on telling him to make a bloody run for it. I look up again, but whatever the fuck it was is gone. I quickly look around and then hear something hit the ground in front of us. And even my master hears it, and he quickly spins around and looks up the road towards it. He starts to grumble a bit and mutters something about bloody foxes. Now at this point, I am absolutely terrified. I can now see it slowly coming our way, and I can see it taking form as it gets nearer to us out of the fog. It's almost humanoid in its form, and its wings are extended out from its shoulders, but are folded back on themselves. It moves like a prowling cat hunting a mouse or a small bird, and the smell is so strong and pungent that I can no longer take it. The shadow thing is now about 10 feet away, and my master, who can see it, and is finally terrified, and is rooted to the spot. He shouts out to it and asks who and what it is in a somewhat frightened and shaky voice. I think, fuck this for a game of monkeys, and I make one last ditch at pulling my master away and bring him to his senses. But it has the reverse effect as he loses his balance and it pulls him over. He lets go of the dog lead as he hits the deck. I just make a run for it. I've lost all my bottle and I run as fast as I can back the way we came. I can hear him screaming behind me as whatever it is grabs a hold of him and attacks him. And to be honest, I no longer care. Selfish as I may be, my thoughts are now just for my own survival and to get the fuck out of there. Screw my master, he had his chance. If the creature was another human or an animal like a fox, a deer, or even a wild pig or a Canadian goose, then no worries, I would have jumped in all heroic like. But that thing, whatever the fuck it was, not a fucking chance. I may be brave, but I'm not bloody stupid. I ran all the way back home quite literally and unproudly with my tail between my legs. So that's it. I'm now back at home at my master's gaff with his wife looking at me wondering what the fuck has happened to him. Boy, I wish I could tell her, but you dumb humans can't understand a word we're saying. Woof, woof my bleeding ass.